What's going on, guys? Charlie Baldy here with the Sports Hit List, and we're here to talk about the Giants and Eli Manning. Now, I'm joined by a great panel of guys, and we're going to break down the entire situation. To my right, I have my good friend Ant. What's going on, Ant? How are you?
Great.
To my left, I have Giant fan himself to say, and NFL analyst Travis. What's going on, pal?
We Panthers #1 around here. Go ahead.
And the real Giant fan, my man Kenneth. What's going on? All right, so Ant, I'm going to start off with you. Take me through Eli, the offensive line, drafting Saquon,
yes.
Odell Beckham hitting his head against a fan. Take it all away.
All right, I'm about to give a very unbiased and correct opinion.
When somebody tells you that, you know it's biased.
Which is, this is nothing but Miss Cleo told you years ago, call her now, that Eli wasn't that guy. And this is just showing it, finally everybody gets to see when nothing's around him to coddle him, that he's just not that guy. When you don't have lucky plays happening for him and things like that, he's not somebody who can just take pieces. He's not your elite quarterback, your Aaron Rodgers, your Brady's,
no one ever said he was.
Different thing. A lot of people tried to put him up there because
he has 2 chips over Aaron Rodgers.
It,
they didn't say
a lot of people, see, there we go. A lot of people tried to put it on him when it's a team. His team came through and did it. Yes.
Yes, and he beat Aaron Rodgers.
He was part of that. Yes. But they overcame Eli to beat. They overcame Eli to beat them.
In 15-1 Green Bay.
That's nice. That's cute.
Was nice.
That was cute. Nice. Which is why, yes it is. Which is why other than those 2 years, the Giants have not either made the playoffs or won a playoff game. So this is why now everybody needs to take it down a bit. Put Eli where he is, a mediocre average, maybe below, maybe above, however you want to. He obviously have him above.
He had 2 Super Bowl MVPs more than Ben.
Which he does. Luckily for Ben. Luckily for Ben. So now, no, we're not. So now that Eli, again, isn't being coddled by his team, even he has an Odell and he can't even get him.
Coddled by the teams. Go ahead, sorry.
No, not like Eli.
All right, we got the hater, we got the fan. I'm going to give you the real right here, all right? This right here, this is bigger than Eli Manning, all right? This is a complete organizational failure, all right? This is bigger than Nino Brown around here. All right, the past couple years, let's talk about that offensive line right there. 2 of their best offensive linemen, Pugh and Richburg, gone from last season. And even last season, they only played they didn't play more than 8 games, the 2 of them. So therefore, everybody wants to sit here and say, oh, we saw this last year. We seen a regression coming. How? There was no way to properly evaluate there was no proper way to evaluate a quarterback in that offense last year. You've had no Odell Beckham, no run game, a horrendous offensive line. How are you going to truly evaluate what you had at the quarterback position right there? So here you come into the draft, you think, okay, Eli still got something left in the tank, so you draft a running back to sit there and say, we can make a final push. But guess what? This is what happened. Offensive line, still terrible. I'm going to give you a couple pro football rankings from these guys. Nate Solder, who is highly overpaid. Let's talk about, if the New England Patriots sat here and said, you know what, we're going to let the blindside protector go for our greatest asset, that's a buyer beware in my book right there. He need to refund some of that money. You got your center, your right guard who got beat like he stole something last week by Fletcher Cox, and then you got the right tackle who couldn't beat out Eric Flowers in camp. So therefore, the offense.
He is undrafted.
Right. So your best offensive lineman is a rookie guard who looks like he's going to be stellar, but that's the only valid offensive lineman you have right there. Now, the only bright spot on that team is Saquon Barkley. And the sad part about it is he's the one looking like a leader. And that's another thing. That team lacks leadership across the board.
I agree.
You have your highest paid player, Odell Beckham. He out here banging his head on things.
What about Eli?
Eli, that's never been his thing, though. Eli has never been that guy. So in the end, I'm gonna sit here and say, I'm not gonna say Eli's completely absolved. I'm gonna give him about 45% of this blame, but this is a whole organizational thing right here.
So Travis, you're blaming the line pretty much, and you're saying he's above average. He's not as good as everybody.
No, I'm saying he's average or below.
Organization.
Eli Manning has deteriorated. He's over the hill. It is what it is. when you have 2 Super Bowls, it does afford you leeway where people kind of give you a pass. He did get a pass. He got a Super Bowl pass, which is deservedly so.
Agreed.
What's the point of winning if you don't get a pass? That's the whole point. Joe Namath to this day has a pass all over New York City because he won 1 Super Bowl. Eli won 2. And are they sticking with him a little too long? Probably. But should they have taken a quarterback? Should they have taken Sam Darnold? I don't know, because most likely Eli would have started this year anyway, and Sam Darnold would have been on the bench. We still be having the same thing until now. Maybe they be looking at Sam Darnold when the season's over. So what does that do for the Giants right now?
And then you don't have the once-in-a-generational running
you
back.
filibuster. Let me finish, right? So, and now they're in a position to pick up next year's top quarterback. So it's still kind of on pace. So next year they get a young quarterback, a stud, maybe the kid from Oregon, maybe another kid. You get a stud, you still got Saquon, you still got Odell, you still got Sterling Shepard, you still got business where maybe next year they could get to 500, then maybe 2 years from now with the experience, they could be back in the playoffs and winning games. But Eli, yeah, he's reached his peak. The O-line's been terrible. They beat him up, now he's punch drunk, and he can't take a rush. He'll throw the ball away, but he's always been erratic with his throws. He's always been high interception kind of guy.
Oh, you know
but
that.
He's also been a guy you could trust to make the right play in the playoffs, win 2 Super Bowls, win 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
That's
and
it.
He did what he did. So yeah, is he living a lavish life off his 2 Super Bowl rings? Yes, he is. And you know what? He goddamn deserves it.
All right, so now it's time for my take.
Oh, boy.
Let's hear what you have to say.
So I'm not going to be biased or anything.
Right.
So to your offensive line argument, Travis, I don't really care for it, and I think it's a weak argument because there are plenty of teams in the NFL that have terrible offensive lines, but their quarterback play did not deteriorate at all. Seattle has a bad offensive line. The Jets have a bad offensive line, and they're still making plays and scoring points, and the Giants cannot score points.
You know what's funny part about that? All those teams you just named have mobile quarterbacks, but go ahead.
Exactly. So the Giants need a mobile quarterback. That's the new game in the NFL. Mobile quarterbacks. They need quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket. You got to expand the pocket.
Is Tom Brady, the last year's MVP, a mobile quarterback?
Tom Brady can move out of the pocket.
He can?
He doesn't just stand there.
He has good pocket awareness where he can shuffle around and he makes good decisions.
Yeah.
Eli doesn't do that.
Also, Saquon is an amazing talent. I wish he was on the Jets. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's not, but there's a point where you could have got a similar kind of running back later in the draft. Let me finish. David Johnson was a 3rd-round pick. Le'Veon Bell was a 2nd-round pick. Your boy Le'Veon.
But they weren't in that draft.
No, I know. But I'm saying the Giants could have took a quarterback in the 1st round and then got a running back later.
Sleeper.
Right, exactly. Instead, they took a quarterback in, I believe, either the 3rd or 4th round, and he's never going to see the field, even if he does for a couple of games at the end of the year.
None of those running backs you just named are Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
No, they're not. But he's picking value over.
Right. Your team didn't need Saquon Barkley.
They didn't need a running back.
But now look at it.
That's hindsight 2020, though.
The Giants have Saquon, but they're still winning 5.
People were saying that from way before that.
Right.
Not necessarily because you
number 2 pick. When's the last time somebody took a running back 1 or 2?
1 or 2? I can't recall, but
that's why.
Dallas took a running back top 5.
4. Right. But we're talking about 2.
All right, two spots difference. Wow.
In the NFL draft, 2-spot difference is a big deal.
You take the best player available right there, and they took a once-in-a-generational player.
When they traded Eli he's not once in a generation. If you got Zeke 2 years ago, that's the same generation. He's not once in a generation. But if you
don't think he's a once-in-a-generational talent?
Ezekiel talent.
You think Ezekiel Elliott is better than him?
Right now, yes.
All right.